The idea that we are now a few days away from a new administration obviously prompted the really extraordinarily, very enjoyable, and I'm really pleased I had the opportunity to listen to the panel, both of Amy and Ron, and as well as Bill and Dr. Jafari, which really, I think, set the stage for so many of the things that we are going to be dealing with over the coming years. Given, as you heard from the introduction, that I have been around for a while and have had the opportunity and the privilege and the pleasure of serving in 5 administrations, I thought I would bring that perspective to the topic today, is the issue of pandemic preparedness. And if there's one message that I want to leave with you today, based on my experience, and you'll see that in a moment, is that there is no question that there will be a challenge to the coming administration in the arena of infectious diseases, both chronic infectious diseases in the sense of already ongoing disease, and we have certainly a large burden of that, but also there will be a surprise outbreak.
Hey YouTubers, this is Hattrick Penry, and thanks for listening to another episode of Diverging Perspective. And I want to talk about Anthony Fauci and Bill Gates today in this hopefully short video. And yes, you've been listening to Anthony Fauci's keynote address on January 10th of 2017 at Georgetown University. Kind of eerie that he's predicting a surprise epidemic for the incoming administration. And as you well know, Anthony Fauci is a very important player, key player in the coronavirus task force. And I've been wondering about this guy. Who is this guy? Because he's the one who said that Tedros Adhanom of the World Health Organization was his friend and he was a good guy. Well, when I looked into that character, he's got a terrible track record in Ethiopia of corruption and alleged crimes against humanity. He's kind of a bit of a terrorist, actually. So I asked myself, who is this Fauci guy? And then I asked myself as well, how is he connected to Bill Gates? And what I found was, look, here's a picture of him right here, having a stroll with Bill Gates. There's another picture I found of Fauci shaking the hand of Bill Gates. And here's an interesting website of Bill Gates and Melinda Gates Foundation. And let me read to you what I found on this particular article on the gatesfoundation.org website. It says, global health leaders launch decade of vaccines collaboration, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. The World Health Organization, UNICEF, the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation have announced a collaboration to increase coordination across the international vaccine community and create a global vaccine action plan. That's essentially what they talk about here, but here's the kicker right here, folks. Down on the bottom of that article, the Leadership Council, this is the Leadership Council of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, is comprised of several people, including Dr. Anthony S. Fauci, Director of NIAID, part of the National Institute of Health. He sits on the Leadership Council board of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. And folks, that is a conflict of interest. If your best friend and bud that you sit on his leadership council of his foundation is Bill Gates, and you are a very crucial key player in the coronavirus task force, in fact, the one that gives recommendations, and I mean, this guy's been calling for national lockdown and all sort of crazy stuff. So at the very least, I find this a conflict of interest. Fauci should, in all rightfulness, step down immediately. No one should have to fire Fauci because of this conflict of interest. He should, of his own accord, step down immediately and let someone else come in there, because it's just not, he can't be fair and impartial and objective when his friend is Bill Gates. He sits on the Leadership Council board of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. We know what that's all about, vaccinating people around the world who would profit from vaccinations that Fauci might recommend. Well, that would be Bill, Melinda Gates, and that gang. And if you look into Bill Gates, it doesn't take but a few minutes to realize what he's all about, who his dad was, and what Bill's all about. I'm going to include a link to a very short 10-minute video, excellent video on Bill Gates. Take you 10 minutes to figure out what he's all about. And basically that's it. This is the video. I just wanted you to know Fauci has connections to Bill Gates, He sits on the leadership council of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and he's into this global vaccination thing, folks. What can I say? So this is an obvious conflict of interest. He should step down. If he doesn't step down, I've got I believe it's hashtag Fire Fauci, and there's a petition circulating around. I'll try to link to at least that petition if you want to sign that, because I've already signed it. It's a conflict of interest. We try to get him fired, but he needs to step down. If he has any shred of morality or ethics, he would step down immediately. Okay, thanks for joining me for another episode of Diverging Perspective. Hope you got something out of this. Patrick Penry, stay safe, be healthy, over and out.
What does opening up look like? Which activities like schools, have such benefit and can be done in a way that the risk of transmission is very low?
Yeah.
And which activities, like mass gatherings, may be, in a certain sense, more optional. And so until you're widely vaccinated, those may not come back at all.